All right, good afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us again this month. This month's webinar, we're going to talk about year end. And believe it or not, we are there and we are feverishly getting ready for year end. And certainly that is a big lift for us in the payroll world. And in turn, that turns into a big lift for you as our client. So certainly lots going on this year in particular. So we wanted to take a few minutes to go into details on that. So at this point, everyone should have received our year-end checklist. Looks a lot like what is on the screen. That year-end checklist we mailed out a little over a week ago, about 10 days ago, so you should have received that. We also have sent it out several times now via email, and this webinar is just another way we are going through that and helping to explain what everything looks like. So we'll go through, we kind of have broken the checklist down by things to do in each month, and we certainly know there's a lot of changes coming this January, so we want to make sure that we go into detail on those. And actually some big changes that just happened to the things we were going to change. So more to come on that. So let's start right at the beginning. So where are we in November? Now, first thing we always tell folks to do, start early and always update information with us as things change. So you would not believe the number of mailings that we've done in the last 10 days that we've received back for incorrect addresses. So if you change your address or get a PO box or you move, please let us know what your mailing address is. That's important because we can't get you W-2s if we don't have that. Also, make sure your tax ID numbers are correct. Those show up on the payroll summary every time you run payroll, and certainly make sure all the employee information is correct. Social Security Administration will fine you $550 per incorrect Social Security number. So if you have a name and Social Security mismatch, or if you have an employee who you have paid and in the year that you do not have a social for, they're going to fine you big time. And we've seen them actually fining folks. So it's really important to make sure those are correct. Starting with the first payroll in December, actually, you'll be able to see a preview of all of the year-end reports in the report archive with payroll each time. That will show you the employee summary with socials and birthdays and all that kind of stuff as well. So make sure everything is correct. That's the first thing you can do to help us make sure things are accurate. The next big item that was going to change in January has actually been stricken down. So many of you might be aware, we've been talking about this for 6 or 8 months now. We've really been pushing it the last month or so. The salary exempt weekly wage threshold was set to increase dramatically on January 1st. Last Friday, a court in Texas struck that down. And it has repealed the entire rule change. So at this point in the state of Maine, the weekly salary threshold is $816.35. That is the threshold right now. The state of Maine did not actually release, because the federal number is lower. The state of Maine usually releases a higher number. This year, they did not do that because they were anticipating the federal number to be higher than that. We've calculated the state number for next year, but it's only a slight increase over that $816 a week number. So stay tuned for more information on that as we get the official number from the state. Essentially, it's 3,000 times minimum wage, which we feel pretty confident we can calculate that, but I want an official statement from the state before we come out with a number. So plan on between $816 and $850 a week is going to be the new salary threshold next year, not the $1,128, which was what it was going to do. So that has been repealed, has been rolled back. That will not increase as dramatically as we had been communicating. That is a big change and certainly something that you're going to want to take a look at. The next really big thing changing for most of our clients here in Maine is Maine paid family leave. So if you have not heard about that, we have a ton of information at papertrails.com/PFML. We did a webinar back in September with Luke and Reggie from the state. They're wonderful. They give us a lot of information on the program. We are hosting another webinar December 17th. At the time, back in September, we didn't have a lot of information about the rollout. We are anticipating hearing from Luke and Reggie in the next couple of weeks about rollout, and we're going to host another webinar December 17th. So please be sure to sign up for that to learn all about the paid family leave program. High level, employees are going to start having a 0.5% tax taken from their check starting on January 1 to pay into Maine paid family leave. If you have 15 or more employees, you as an employer will also have to contribute 0.5%. So there are some nuances to that. The 15 employee count is a little wonky. We have some custom reporting that we're going to be able to help folks with starting next month to figure that out if you're on that line. But lots of information at papertrails.com/PFML. We have a full guide to the program that we've developed with lots of information. And again, papertrails.com/webinars. Sign up for December 17th webinar on PFML. So lots coming for that. But start thinking about that. If you have 15 or more employees, you need to start budgeting for next year because that 0.5% premium is going to start January 1. So along the same lines, we are going to need everyone to be registering for a PFML account with the state. And again, we hope to have much more information about that in the next couple of weeks, and we will send that out as soon as we get it. So stay tuned. Lots going on from this PFML perspective. More to come on that. So fringe benefits, this is something we work on every single year. So we tell people in November, start thinking about it, get your documentation together. Things like S corporation, shareholders insurance, and mileage and auto reimbursements, things like that. If you are the owner of an S corp and you have health insurance or you have a company vehicle, chances are this relates to you. Similarly, if you have any company vehicles that you need to have personal mileage added onto employees' W-2s if they're driving them home, things like that, we need to get that. Those need to be added as fringe benefits on the employee's W-2, so we need that information. Other common fringe benefits that we see are third-party sick pay. So if you have short-term disability payments that have gone out, we need that information. If you offer group term life to your employees that is in excess of $50,000 of benefit, that is a taxable benefit to your employees. So we need that information as well. Likewise, personal use of a company vehicle. So if they're commuting, things like that, that is a taxable item as well. And lastly, things non-cash payments. So what does that mean? A lot of times we see folks buy gift cards for employees as prizes. Unfortunately, the IRS considers that a taxable fringe benefit and the employee must pay tax on that. We saw someone buy someone that was retiring a trip for their retirement. They sent them to Aruba for a week as a vacation present. That is a taxable fringe benefit, right? I had someone ask about a wellness stipend. They give their employees $250 a month to use for wellness and equipment, or $250 a year, excuse me. And my question was that for business use or not, right? If it's not for business use, that would be considered taxable and would need to be added. So start thinking about those and get those over to us. We do like to have those by early December. This year, the deadline is December 13th. So those are some of the most common ones. These CP-136 notices, I got one today. I know they're on the way. So if you get one of these CP-136 notices from the IRS, please send that to us so we can just double check to make sure we are paying your taxes correctly. You're going to ask me, what is a CP-136? And what that is a notice from the IRS saying you need to pay your payroll taxes at a certain time frame. And we're pretty good at calculating that on our own, but we always like to double check just in case the IRS, if we've miscalculated, we obviously want the IRS's determination for sure. So 9 times out of 10, it's just a double check. We're already doing it correctly, but we like to have those to verify as well. So if you get one, please send it along. Other things to think about in November, we are closed Thursday the 28th for Thanksgiving and the day after Thanksgiving, which is the 29th. Banks are open on Friday the 29th, so Friday paydays will still stand. We will have everything processed on Wednesday for Friday paydays. If you have a Monday, Tuesday payday of the following week, please reach out to us sooner than later to kind of put a plan in place of how we're going to handle that, okay? So think about that. If you have more than 50 employees, start thinking about ACA reporting. That is something that's lots of fun. We have to start getting our ducks in a row to get that completed, and that is only if you have 50 or more full-time equivalent employees, which is a calculation that is fun to complete as well. Thinking about if you need an HR checkup in the new year, we are doing a webinar in January, which will talk all about the changes coming this year that you need to be updating your HR policies for. As a reminder, Dawn on our team is fabulous. She's available to help you with all things HR. And certainly don't forget to follow us on social media. We post a lot of this kind of stuff on our Facebook, on our Instagram, LinkedIn, and so forth as well. So keep an eye on those things as well. So. In December, if you have written any manual checks to employees, so gosh, I forgot to pay Susie, and I'm going to go write her a check for $500. that needs to go on payroll, right? Her W-2 will not be correct if you don't get that on payroll. So we need to get that, collect the tax, pay that. Please send those over to, or if you had a bonus check or whatever that you wrote, you gave someone cash even, that needs to be added to payroll. So please send those over. Likewise, the third-party sick pay that we talked about that with the fringe benefits, everything, all those W-2 adjustments, all those fringe benefits, all those types of things, we prefer to have by December 13th. So please send those along. We have a list of all the folks that have done these types of things in the past, and your payroll processor probably has already started to reach out to you. So keep an eye on those and please get those to us as soon as you can. That helps make sure year end is much smoother. Bonuses. Let's talk about bonuses. We certainly know a lot of folks do bonus payrolls in this time of year, which is wonderful. We are happy to do that. We really like to have bonus payrolls about 5 days before you want to pay them, right? So if you want them on a Friday payday, we'd like to have them Monday. We do prioritize normal payrolls and normal paydays before we complete bonuses. So if you send us regular payroll and bonus payroll on the same day for a Friday payday, we may not process that bonus payroll till Wednesday or Thursday as we have time. So we really want to make sure everyone gets paid normally, and then we go ahead and process those bonuses after the fact. Just give us a little more time to get that work complete. If you have special instructions for bonuses, please send those along, right? So if you do not want any deductions withheld or you only want your retirement withheld, let us know about that. If you want live checks instead of direct deposits, let us know that. A lot of folks like to gross up, say, hey, I want to give them $500 clean, right? Let us know how you want to do that and how you want to handle the taxes on that, right? So if we're going to give them $500 clean, is the employee paying the taxes? Are you paying the taxes? How are you handling that? That's going to be a question we're going to ask. So think about those, get yourself organized, and send those over sooner than later so that we have a chance to review those. Other things to think about, unemployment rate changes will come out at some point in either December or January. The state last year didn't get them out until January. But if everyone will get an unemployment rate change, if you are in Maine, we do not need these rate changes anymore, okay? If you're a Maine employer, we do not need these rate change notices any further. Okay, we have an integration with the state now where we upload a list of all of our clients. The next day I go download it. We get everybody's rates automatically, and we will do that on January 1 so that we have the correct rate starting for January 1. If you have non-Maine employees, if you are in another state, we file your taxes in another state, please do send those rate change notices to us because we need to get those updated. We do not have integrations with all of the states, only Maine at this point. So Maine unemployment notice, ignore, file it, save it away for your records. A non-Maine or any other state, please, please, please send that along. Similarly, we are closed the 25th and January 1st for Christmas and New Year's. These are going to be very busy weeks for us. So we ask you pretty please get us information as soon as you can for payrolls and anything you need done during this week, right? Monday is going to be a busy day. Tuesday, we usually like to get out of here on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve a little bit early. Certainly, I'd like to send my team home to spend time with their families, just as I'm sure you do as well. So the sooner you get us those things, the better. We know that we are going to be processing payrolls on Thursday for Friday paydays and so forth. This is going to be a week of prioritizing dates, both of these weeks, because of the way the holiday falls in the middle of the week. So please, please, please get us information as soon as you can. So that last payroll of the year, it's always important. Take an extra look at it. Is everything on there that you want? Are deductions finalized? Are retirement contributions maxed out if you want them? Are your health insurances, have you collected the right amount for the year? All of those types of things, take an extra look at that last payroll. In the report archive, you can also get a preview of all your year-end reports. So you can look at those as well, okay? Think about all of those types of things. Don't forget about merit, right? So merit is something that started this year. All employers with 5 or more employees must now provide a retirement plan to their employees. The state has started a program called Merit, which is a auto Roth IRA program. No cost to the employer. If you do not offer a 401k or simple IRA, you must enroll in Merit. The state's been pretty lenient about not levying any fines at this point in this year, even though the deadline was June 30th to get signed up or to have an employer-sponsored plan. But Beth, who I actually think is on our webinar here, has and her board have let us know that they are going to start imposing fines starting this coming year. So please, 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 you must either offer an employer-sponsored retirement plan, something like a 401k, simple IRA, or enroll in merit as soon as possible. If you have questions about this, how to do this, we have a full guide to merit and all the requirements, everything that's on there. We can make recommendations for financial advisors if you want to start an employer-sponsored plan, or we'll help you get set up for merit if you want to do that as well. So let us know about that if you have questions. So certainly spread the word about using the mobile app. That is important as well. I will also say we're going to send some information out about paid family leave to your employees in late December, because they are all going to have a 0.5% extra taken from their check on January 1st. And we'd like to prevent 15,000 phone calls on January 3rd, that first payday of the year. So be prepared, help spread the word about paid family medical leave to your employees. We're going to provide you with some verbiage on how to do that, but we don't need everyone freaking out that first payroll asking, what's this new PFML thing on my check? So more to come on that as well. Starting in January. So 1099s, we have done 1099s in the past for non-payroll 1099s. If you've paid, contractors outside of payroll, things like that. We no longer are doing any bookkeeping, so we have sent that over to Joni. Joni was our former bookkeeping manager. She bought the bookkeeping piece of our business earlier this year, and she's going to handle those 1099s. On the checklist is her email to get that information over there. She'd like to have any 1099s you need to have done by January 24th. If you have 1099s that are paid through payroll, we will certainly continue to do those 1099s for you. But if there's anything that happens outside of payroll, we're going to send those to Joni, and there's more information in the checklist on how to contact her as well. So keep up on those. Certainly, we know deductions changes, rate of pays change. Certainly, if you can update those or send those to us, the sooner the better. We would prefer to have those before your first payroll is to be run, so we can get things updated within the system. That would be super helpful. We're going to try to do as many imports as we can. So if you want to ask your payroll processor for a spreadsheet of things that you need to update everyone's health insurance on, we certainly can do that, and then just import that as well. So send those over as soon as possible. Main paid leave, vacation payout requirements. This is just a reminder. Main paid leave has been on the books for a couple of years now. Any employer with 10 or more employees, and that's 10 or more bodies, any 10 or more people that work for you, must provide up to 40 hours of paid leave, annually. Starting last year, there was a new requirement. If you offer a vacation plan, only a vacation plan, not main paid leave, not PTO, not sick. If you have a time off plan called vacation, you must pay that out when an employee terminates, whether by their choice or yours. If they leave your employment, you must pay that out. Little workaround, which the legislature knew about and we told them about, and they still decided not to do it anyway, is if you just call that personal time or PTO or any other thing other than vacation time, you do not have to pay it out. So just a quick reminder on those two items that are from previous years, but we're still seeing folks kind of slowly work into. So this is a big one. We've had, there are 53 Wednesdays in 2024, okay? Why does that matter? So we have a lot of folks that pay a salary of $50,000, say, and they want that paid in a year. Well, the system bases that on 52 weeks or 26 weeks, 26 pay periods or 52 pay periods, depending on if you're weekly or biweekly. If there is a 53rd Wednesday, it's likely they're going to get paid more than $50,000 in 2025. And that says 2024, but it should be 2025. So that's something you might want to think about. Everyone does this a smidge different. There's no right or wrong answer. But if you want someone only paid $50,000 for the year, you may need to adjust their salary down in order to manage that for next year, okay? Otherwise, they're going to essentially get paid an extra week. So that's something to think about now if you have Wednesday paydays, okay? Next year is going to be Thursday and then Friday the year after. So start thinking about that now if that's something that you are headed to. Labor law posters, certainly that's something that we've seen the Federal Department of Labor be a little more active in, and I think we're going to see State Department of Labor working on as well. We have a full labor law compliance program, labor law poster compliance program for you. If you are interested in that, certainly reach out about that as well. We will get W-2s and 1099s out to you as soon as we can. We are planning to work that first week of January, just like we usually do, to get those out the door. We hope to have them to you very early in January. We will send them as a package to you, and we will send you an email when we get them out the door so you know they should be coming. You must get the actual form to each employee. So, okay, mail those W-2 forms, 1099s forms, or physically hand them to them to your employees. Don't forget, they need another copy. They don't need to come to us. They can log into the app or go to myhrstuff.com and download a copy at any time. So they can get those. They don't need to come to you. You don't need to come to us. They have access to those electronically after we publish them. So again, hoping to have those out just like we usually do early in January. That's why getting all this stuff taken care of before January is so important, because we want to make sure that we get those to you as soon as we can. So. Certainly, same thing, Affordable Care Act. We will work with everybody in January that needs to do Affordable Care Act to manage that. So we talked about paid family leave, right? That was a big one. This is actually going into effect starting January 1st. So you will need to read up on that. We will be sending much more information out about that. Full guide on the papertrails.com/PFML. And again, another webinar December 17th to talk about implementation. And we will be sending much more information about how to register and so forth in the coming weeks. So please be on the lookout for that. We talked about the federal salary threshold. That has been struck down, so you don't have to worry about that. Minimum wage next year is going to go to $14.65 here in Maine. If you have other states, be sure to look at those states, because everybody updates their minimum wage at different times. Here in Maine, both Rockland and Portland have different minimum wages. They're a little bit higher, so $15.50 for those two cities. If you have employees working in those cities, you must pay that higher minimum wage. So certainly we have the tipped wages in here as well, $7.33 for the state, and then $7.75 in Portland. So those minimum wages are going into effect. And we talked about the salary threshold. That $14.65 times 3,000 is $43,950. That's what we expect the salary threshold to be for next year. The state has not officially given us that word, but if you read the statute, it says minimum wage times 3,000, which $14.65 times 3,000 is $43,950. Okay, so that will be the salary threshold. What we think it will be in 2025, we're waiting for official word from Maine Department of Labor. Retirement contributions are changing quite a bit this year. Something new is happening. Secure 2.0 is a bill that passed about 2 years ago and is making lots of changes to our retirement plans. The biggest one is kind of coming in this year, where the catch-up is changing a little bit. So if you have a simple IRA, the maximum contribution amount is increasing to $23,500. When you go over 50, you used to have a catch-up, okay, of $7,500. That still is in effect. But it changes, because if you are 50 to 59, you get to contribute $31,000 with that catch-up. If you are ages 60 to 63, the catch-up goes up even more. But when you turn 64, it goes back down to the original. So the 60 to 63 number is if you turn 60 in that year, or if you are 63 in that year, you can put this additional amount in. So even if you turn 60 on December 30th, you can contribute the higher amount. If you turn 64 on January 2nd, because you were 63 in that year, you can put the higher number in. Okay, that's the way it's been reviewed in the IRS rules. And then after you turn 64, it goes back down. The catch-up reduces again. Why they've done it this way, I have no idea. You're welcome to call your senators and state representatives to ask why they wrote the law this way. Simple IRA also went up $500 this year to $16,500 with a catch-up as well. So those numbers, and then similarly, they have the 60 to 63 catch-up as well. So big changes there. If you are in there and you want to max those out, please let us know. All right. Reminder, this checklist is available, papertrails.com/year-end. It is there. Everything we've talked about today is there in more detail. This webinar will be posted there as soon as we're done. It'll also be posted to our YouTube channel. Lots of questions about that as well. And a reminder, paid family leave is coming. We have another webinar scheduled for December 17th, and you can register for that at papertrails.com/webinars. And remember, papertrails.com/PFML is where that guide is, and lots more information there. So that's kind of the year-end checklist in an overview. Hopefully we answered some questions for you. The Q&A is open. The chat is open. I'm happy to answer any specific questions you have. I do have a PFML question here in the Q&A. So can employers pay the full 1% of the PFML? And the answer to that is yes. If you would like to do that, please let us know so we can configure that appropriately for you. That's something that you can do. If you have more than 15 employees and you must also contribute, you can pay that full 1%. If you have less than 15, you can pay the employer 0.5% and not deduct it from the employee. So yes, that is an option, but please let us know so that we can get that configured correctly. Any other questions about anything we went over? Certainly any other year-end questions are always welcome as well. And certainly this is very similar to our checklist in previous years. There's a lot of the same asks, a lot of the same questions. We certainly kind of copy it every year, but that is there as well. So Kelly, is the 401k increasing for 2025? Yep. So here on this last slide, we were just on, the 401k goes from 23,000 to 23,500 this year. And again, the catch-up is different. So take a look at those brackets. The catch-up is still 7,500 for the 50 to 59 and the 64 plus. But if you're in that 60 to 63 age bracket, you get a little extra. So you get a little more there to play with. So question on PFML. We have 3 offices in 3 states and a total of 15 employees. Will all of our employees have to pay the PFML or just main employees? So only main employees are subject to the PFML, and you are only subject to the match on that PFML if you have 15 or more main employees. So if you have 10 main employees, only the 10 main employees pay PFML, and you do not have to pay the 0.5% contribution from an employer perspective because you have under 15 main employees. And I will tell you, the calculation for that 15 employee threshold is very funky. If you think you are close, please talk to us, because we have some custom reporting being built right now so that we can keep an eye on that and check it for you. It's so, especially seasonal folks, seasonal clients, if you're 20 or so, it's probably going to apply to you. The way the calculation works is a little different. So another question on paid leave. Lots of paid leave questions. Don't forget, go to papertrails.com/PFML, full guide on that. And we have a webinar coming up next month. So, and the webinar we did in September is really good. We had Luke and Reggie from the state on there. Go ahead and watch that if you have questions. The Q&A in particular was really good. We got a lot of answers straight from the horse's mouth, right from Luke and Reggie, of how they were going to do things. So check that out. But another PFML question: do the employees get the 0.5% back if they do not use the leave? No, this is just like every other insurance program. If you don't use it, you lose it, right? It's just like auto insurance or any other type of insurance. This is essentially a short-term disability policy. And so you pay your premium. That 0.5% on the employee and 0.5% on the employer side is the premium you're paying into this program, just like any other insurance program, and you do not get it back, right? The state is essentially acting as an insurer at this point. So the other thing, while we're talking about PFML, this program is going to be funded for about 15 months, 16 months. So between now, January 1st of 2025, and employees will not be able to use this program until after May 1st, 2026. So the state is taking a little over a year to fill the coffers and fund that before they can, anyone can pull money out of it to use for any qualified leave reason. So if you're like us, we currently offer we offer short-term disability to our employees. I pay 100% of that, and I'm going to still have to continue to pay my short-term disability premiums through April of next year, as well as that 0.5% match, because we have more than 15 employees for the next year and a half. So kind of going to get double charged here for a little bit of time. And likewise, your employees and potentially you are going to have to contribute for a little over a year before they can start using the program. So think about that as well. But a ton of information at papertrails.com/PFML as well. So, and again, December 17th, we're hoping to have, we're going to do a quick overview of the program, all the things we've already talked about, a lot of these questions, and then we will do a talk about how to get signed up, how it's going to logistically work starting in January. We're hoping, I've talked to the state. They are telling me the first week of December, we're going to have that information. So we will turn that around and get it out to all of you so that you know what needs to happen in January, what will be happening in January as well. And certainly we'll handle all those deductions, all those payments, all those return filings, all that fun stuff. We will handle that for you. We will just need you to get registered for the program. Any other questions? I'm not seeing any, but certainly feel free to reach out to us if there's anything that comes up. If you have specific questions about how things need to be done to make sure year end is good for you and for your business and your employees, please always feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to help, happy to answer any questions. We know things are not getting any easier running a business here, so we're happy to help anytime we can. So this has been recorded. We will get this loaded online. We'll likely send an email out tomorrow morning with the link for the recording. So certainly feel free to get that, send that off to anybody that might need it or review it again. And again, papertrails.com/year-end is the full checklist. So, all right, we look forward to seeing everybody next month at PFML and have a great afternoon. Thanks so much.